I don't know. I tried to read this to somebody in my office the other day, and they ended up curled up in the fetal position on the floor. So I don't know why, why we found this. They asked me when I was reading it to them why. What do you want to do, Emily? What do you want to do? What do you want to do? What do you want to do? Why was it important? Why is it important? This was written July 25th, 1997 by my mother. At the time that she wrote this, I was a drug addict. I was a 20-year-old drug addict. It's real. That's the thing. It's like my real life, and it's not even me that's saying this. It's like written by other people, so it's really justifies my experience to. It's not just me. July 25th, 1997. Maria Bloodworth. When Emily was 5 or 6, she began to have nightmares about snakes and people taking her. We prayed and prayed and prayed. Never could we figure out why she was having such a hard time. Several years later, she began to complain about the holidays. She would get depressed and hated them, especially Thanksgiving. She hated. She would try for us to be happy and smile for all the pictures, but underneath she was being molested. Now we look back at these pictures with pain because we didn't know. She does really like St. Patrick's Day, that one we never celebrated. When she told Linda Michelle what was going on, we were totally surprised. We had talked to her and Angela about things like that. We went through a book my cousin gave us. Why didn't you tell us? We asked. Emily said she was afraid something would happen to us, and then she was so ashamed. She told when she found out he had done things to her friends too. She was mad. We were so shocked and numb that we couldn't function. My dad went for weeks, unable to sleep. His boss called him in because he was on the verge of losing his job. They took me to counseling, worked through forgiveness, and tried to go on. The boy that was involved was asked to stay out of the youth group for 1 year. He was required by law to have professional counseling. They agreed to pay for half of my counseling bill. They did not press criminal or civil charges because he confessed to my accusations. When my parents met with this boy, my parents met with him and were able to ask questions. He said he was sorry. The pastor said he had to confess to the church, and he did, but it was very general. Pastor Dale also confessed. Pastor Dale and Hazel had them over regularly for popcorn. His mother called several times, wanting to know how long he was going to have to stay out of the youth group. 1 year, my mother said. My counselor gave questions that we had drafted together to this boy's counselor. He answered them and gave the questions back to my counselor. My counselor was advocating for me. She got really mad and rejected his answers 3 times. His mother got mad and called, wanting to know what was wrong with his answers, saying that his counselor thought our counselor wasn't very good and they should just accept what the boy had done. So everybody did. Those answers are enclosed. Emily thought God was going to do something by the end of summer. Nothing happened, and Emily lost all hope and trust in the Lord. She felt that this boy's mother was trying to destroy her, and the church didn't care. I think she was right. My mother writes. We decided the only thing left to do was leave the church. Harry resigned as elder. We took the girls and left. It was a wonderful time for us. We felt that things were left undone and we would be back again. Jean and Karen and Gordy and Bess confirmed this. The church got a new pastor. Jean was so hopeful. He said he thought we should come back. We came back 1 week before Pastor Callahan came. Emily, by this time, had graduated, moved out of the house, church, and community as fast as I could. They had Pastor C and Louetta over for one of the dinners. My mother had no intention of saying anything, but poured her heart out to Louetta. She promised they would take care of the situation. Pastor C called them up for a meeting. They met with Pastor C and Louetta and the parents of this other boy. No elders. They went through forgiveness. Pastor C said that our relationship with these people would never get back to the place where we would have Thanksgiving together, as she had hoped. Had nothing to do with forgiveness. They were relieved. He, Pastor C, said he was blessed by our willingness to forgive and warned us not to bring the situation up again. Emily met with Pastor C, but felt no need or desire to meet with the person who molested me or his parents. Pastor C told me that this boy's whole pastoral future rested on her response to him, that I was responsible. I told Pastor C that I was not responsible for anything in this man's future. The pastor was, and he was. Pastor C would bring Louetta to the Evergreen Theater often. That's where I worked. One of my employees asked me if he was a pastor, and I said, yes, he was. In fact, he was my parents' pastor, but he never spoke to me or acknowledged me. A group from Bible Temple came to minister worship. The boy that molested me was added to that team and participated. The pastor called my parents into another meeting in his office, no elders. He said that he didn't know that boy would be ministering in worship with that team, that he was upset about it too, that the Lord had spoken to him, and then he told us that this boy would not be part of the worship team. He would not be working with children. He would be working with him and would lead him towards administrative work, since the guy wanted to be a pastor. We agreed. Although we never asked for these things, we were relieved. We had said if he is teaching and something happens, we will be in a position to testify against the church leaders, and we don't want to do that. Somewhere in all of this boy worked with another boy, and she doesn't know the details. I don't know why that is mentioned here, but it doesn't matter. October 1996, the presbytery. Pastor C is called up to ask if they would be a part. My dad reluctantly said yes. Third day, this boy was called up. They were in shock. Man had put restrictions on him, not God. His apprenticeship should be here. The prophets don't know this man. Jack Lohman said he had been watching him for years. Oh, so amazing. Pastor C called us in about our prophetic word. We told him how upset we were with what he had told us and what Pastor C had done at the conference. He said he couldn't remember what he said and handed them this boy's prophecy. You find it, he said. We asked him who put that boy on the list to begin with, and Pastor C said it was a senior pastor decision. Elders aren't part of this. Bess and Gordy were really upset that this boy's name was on the list when we talked to them later. We asked Pastor C what he had vindicated the mother of, and he said her motherhood. Why didn't you say that, I asked. Pastor C asked my dad if he wanted him to make a public apology. My dad said no. We need some consistency in what you say and what you do to heal. The boy that molested me teaches the 3rd grade. Some parents have trouble with this and pull their children out of the class. Most parents don't know. Then it was decided he would have to leave for their good as well as his and the church. Pastor in a different church recommended that. January is set up for the date of his departure. Pastor C told them he didn't know that this boy was teaching or helping. Middle of February, Sunday morning. He's singing with the choir. He is still teaching Wednesday night with his girlfriend, and he hasn't left. We didn't ask for these things, but we were told it was what the Lord had said and what was better for all. My parents got up and walked out of the church service. The pastor called that afternoon to see if they were sick. My dad was gone, so he talked to my mother. My mother told him that they were not sick, that he knew why they had walked out. He blamed it on Vance, who put this guy up there in the choir. Vance did not know. He told me it would take time to work out the details of his leaving. The pastor was mad at my mom for walking out. He said they were wrong for walking out, and he had a lot of other people in the church. Oh, come on, Emily. A lot of other people in the church to take care of. My mother asked about this boy still. Man, whatever. Boy, man. Doesn't matter. It's about him still teaching Wednesday night, and he told me he didn't know. Twice I said he is teaching and you don't know. You said you are the senior pastor and you don't know. I was getting more upset, and so was he. I told him he would need to talk to my husband, not me. And that we would not meet with him without the elders again. The elders are not involved in this, he said. I told him that I wanted them involved so they would know what was going on. I needed to go, and we hung up. Wednesday night, he caught Harry and told him he was taking care of it. Harry just looked at him because at that moment, both of them knew Josh, whatever, he was teaching children. Again, we had not demanded these things, but we're told by the pastor that the Lord had told him what he should do. Easter morning, my sister, they all got up, excited about Easter, the season where my parents accepted the Lord. My dad was in Mexico. Supposedly, drug-addicted me was going to be coming out to go to church with them. It's doubtful. Fucking really doubtful that I was actually going to do that. I was probably going to get high and smoke cigarettes. and try to block out the fact that any of this shit had ever happened in my life. Okay. Emily was coming out to go to church with us. We had told her that Pastor C had said to us that this man was leaving. I could not believe it when he called him up in the front of the church for prayer, that he was being promoted, going into an internship with a pastor. My mother started to shake. She kept watching the door. She was panicked. What if I walked in on this? Would I think that she had lied to me? She was so upset. She looked at my sister and my sister said, "Let's go, Mom." She was so upset too. She took my dad out and I followed. I got home. I was so upset. I couldn't quit crying. My sister took my hands and said, "Mom, he robbed me of my sister. The church finished us off, but we are not going to let it rob us of our Easter." So we tried to have the best day we could. I called Lauren later. Lauren said he thought that the boys should have a second chance. He had had a second chance when we didn't press criminal charges. He had a third chance when we didn't press civil charges. Had a fourth chance with Pastor Dale and Hazel, and a fifth chance when Pastor C promoted and sent him out on an internship. The problem is, in all of the chances he has had, it is still hidden. If it is so taken care of, why is it still so hidden? Where was my second chance? I guess that's what I'm doing. The thing is, this thing was a part of his life for 8 or 9 years that we know of. Destroyed our daughter, destroyed the ability for our family to function as we should have. If God has so delivered it, should it not be openly be part of it, everyone's testimony? Lauren said he would talk to Harry later. He never did and never has. I no longer can participate in silence. We talked with Emily and she agreed it can no longer be hidden. We thought by hiding it we were protecting her, but we hurt her more. When she was 17 years old, she was still coming into our room at night. I slept on the floor in my parents' house until I moved out. When I've told people what happened, they're very shocked. One person was so mad at the church for letting this man continue to teach children without the parents' knowledge of his history that she was ready to leave. She was mad at my mother for being quiet about it. My mother says she won't anymore. She promised. They've been trying for 6 years to clear this up. It's time. The Lord reminded her that he leaves the 99 to go after the one that is lost, the lost little lamb. He's going after Emily. Emily wants to have a relationship with us that was lost. We are working on that, and so is she. Actually, I was doing drugs. I wasn't working on anything. I was working on trying to survive my life and not kill myself because of how horrible everybody had treated me. You know what you shouldn't do? Experiment on your kids. Homeschool them, isolate them, and not give them any tools or skills for life outside of like an apocalyptic point of view, and then invite child molesters into your home. And then when your daughter tells about that, choose the church and think that they're going to fix it when they didn't. It's like, really, it's okay. I'm alive. I feel alive. I'm grateful.